Hello, Matthew.
Hello.
It's prep school. Um, I don't have a lot of prep to do because tomorrow, we kind of did it already, and it's kind of going to be the end of season one type of thing. And we discussed on last episode of DNO kind of what we were going to do going forward as far as we're doing a time jump, and they're going to have to do some creative writing esque stuff between then and now. Going to take about 3 months off. We talked about. Um, so Matt and I are going to just do some chit chatting today and a little hanging out. And I'm going to open this friggin' figure. Nah.
Uh,
Um,
the pictures I've seen make it look very cool. I've kind of been deliberately trying to avoid them to a degree.
well,
But
I mean, Matt, you have a figure
I
here,
know.
and it's beautiful. So here's the boy. Now I will say,
Let's hear
um,
it for the
I
boy.
like the head a lot,
Yeah.
but it also like he's got a little bit of Cro-Magnon head,
Mm.
and that's a little weird, but not super weird. Um, and then he come with box
Oh yeah, they've been doing that with the some of
Bo- box apart.
the Mattel Creations wrestling stuff. It's like
They're
here's the
like,
card, and at the little bottom there's a little box with all their extra.
yeah, they're like, hey Holmes, here's a box of stuff. So Matt and I were talking right before we started our hang this morning about like collecting and like trying to figure it out as you get advanced in age and like what's important, what's not, what do you want, what you don't. And I know you're working on it, Matt,
I sure am.
and I'm trying to do a little bit of that myself. I'm a little bit of a collector myself.
Well, and I know
Um,
I mean, you're definitely, I mean, you've been doing it with trying to figure out, like, well, what about, your miniatures and books and all that
oh,
stuff, comics.
check it out.
Yeah, it was an interesting reinterpretation of the original. I don't know if this is based on different concept art for the character.
So I have the OG tank head from Classics.
Hmm.
I do like it, but I like this way better.
Yeah, this is the
This
turtle
this,
looking.
this is some He-Man esque headpiece. Um, I'm trying, and I still have some stuff to do. And as soon as I'm gonna try to do some painting on stream. Um, Colin has got a much more chaotic schedule than I do, so we talked about doing it together. But
When you got the chillins, that
yeah, and he's got really great kids, and they want to hang out. Look at this cannon.
mm,
That is a kick-ass gun.
yeah.
Like
Does the
I am.
output on that, or is it?
No, I wish it did, but it's got a
It
movable handle though.
Yeah, but it still seems. I mean, it's a bummer that the end of it doesn't open.
Oh, also,
Is it a
oh,
cannon, or does he just like bite you with it?
I think it's a cannon. I think it's like a flamethrower.
Mm.
Also, for anyone who cares, I did not sleep well, which has become the pattern.
Oh,
So I put together a prep school playlist this morning of stuff that gets me hyped for coming on and hanging out and doing so. Oh, I like this new backpack with these clear wings on it.
yeah. The original backpack was kind of gummy, which was a bummer.
Well, it's very Boba Fett. It's basically
Yeah,
repainted Boba Fett.
yeah,
I love this axe.
yeah. The axe is great.
That
That's
axe has so much personality. It's ridiculous.
It's not too terribly different than the classics one, but they did tweak it, which I appreciate.
So I was really worried when I saw some pictures that I was like, oh, did they just give him King Grayskull shoulder piece? They didn't.
No,
It's actually its own thing, and I really like it. I love, and you're getting this figure as well, Matt, not just your own, because I'm just going to take the parts off of it like I do, like I'm want to do. But I love the fact that all
wow,
the shin pieces are removable.
yeah, oh yeah,
Interchangeable.
all the stuff. It's super. It's a really cool concept. I actually did buy, I think two
Oh, you
of,
did buy one?
of the. Oh, not that one. No, of the classics one back in the day.
Okay.
I was like, I want to be able to make all
Oh,
individuals
yeah.
out of all three sets. and I only ever did.
Which is your favorite out of the three?
There was the basic one that
Which is the Vicron, the Barbarian.
Yeah, but I did end up making out of some various parts, and I've shown this before, but I do like how it came out.
The Tank Man looks great, but
I added some extra bits, so he's got like the shells on his shoulders. He's got a utility belt from a Batman figure, so I used that waist to give him a more military look, and I actually did fill in the backs of his giant moon boots.
Ooh. Well, I mean, I guess if you're not going to take him off, if that's his permanent form,
yeah. So I mounted the feet too, so the feet are actually
articulated as well. That's great.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a fun project. I'm happy with how that came out. And I have the parts here for the Boba Fett or whatever, and never brought it any further.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got an Origins version of it up on the shelf with all my Cosmic boys. So I just got to take the waist piece off this guy, but this body's going to you.
Okay. I'm going to mute real quick. I hear Danny's down here. I'm going to just check in with her quick.
Okay, cool. I have to say, I absolutely was blown away by how cool this is. This is tremendous. Unfortunately, mine's got little scuffy boys on the white, but they're not bad. It's just really cool.
I love that. I like that a lot better than the original, honestly.
I like the OG one, but this is like brings the elements of Zodak. Yeah. It's got the elements of it's got the elements of the spacesuit in Castle Grayskull. It's got a little bit of everything to it. It's so well done. I love this blaster.
Yeah, this is the one that I never quite finished just because it's like, man, I don't want to fill in these backs. And then I started filling in to like bring the bracers all the way around, and that was a pain in the ass. So
I kind of like this chest piece for Tank Man a little bit better too, because it is Man-at-Arms-esque.
Yeah, it's got the Man-at-Arms Royal Eternian Guard.
It's I think this might be the best Masterverse figure they've done so far, and that's wild to say because I think that if I look back at when Masterverse and Origins were coming out, and I was like, I had to choose one.
Yeah.
I chose Origins because of the flexibility of modification.
Right. Oh, and they're much better for that. Yeah.
And a little bit cheaper price and a little bit more of like the gut feeling of like, hey, this is what I grew up with. Masterverse is really good.
Well, that's one of the things that I was debating, cutting out, and probably will, is my classics.
Oh, really? You're gonna get rid of your classics?
I'm thinking about it. And I gotta say the new Eternia stuff in Masterverse is making that hard.
Well, you've got a 2 bad body coming, and you're gonna have this body coming. I got to get a hold of a Clawful because holy buckets. Actually, I'd like to get all 2 Clawfuls to give 1 to Warrior because
he's a Clawful boy.
Clawful's his fave, and I bought him every Clawful that I could find just to give to him because I know how it's like a big deal to him. But anyway, yeah. So this is a great fit. As I took the head and everything off, it's a great figure. And I know I'm like not the toy guy, but
sorry, I was checking my.
It's a really good
for my thing this afternoon, and there's apparently out in Forest Lake, which is where I'm meeting this guy. And I know this is an Iowa thing. It doesn't mean anything to them there, but it still always does, make me have a second glance. But yes, here in Forest Lake is Custom Cornhole Creations.
As you do, I guess.
I guess,
I guess.
Oh, that looks really good.
It does. Also, I've got this monstrosity that I'm going to use on one of those bodies too.
Ooh.
I just got to figure out how I want to do it. Anyway, So I found something the other day and I sent it to our chat. I did not know that they did a 6-gun RPG.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Um,
was curious about it, but I've got enough
well,
on without.
well, you don't need to be curious any longer because I have the PDFs are in the Dropbox.
Oh.
But I was like, oh man, Matt's got to see this. So I'm gonna share my screen. I was kind of digging through my Dropbox and looking for games. I was like, because one thing I'm thinking about doing is something I've decided to call One Shot Wednesdays,
Okay.
where I would just do a one shot on a Wednesday, generally kind of an easy game to get in and go. So, plus I had like a weird feeling of like there should be a song for it based off of Jukebox Hero. One shot Wednesdays, he's got free time. Um, I wish I had a better version of this, but this is a game called Everyone is John. It's a competitive role playing game for 3 or more horrible people.
All right.
The premise is John is a totally insane man in Minneapolis, New York. Minneapolis, New York, Arkham, Smallsville, or whatever today's train wreck is set. He is controlled by the voice of his head one at a time, of course.
Yes.
It's kind of like
it's
you're the voices in John's head.
yeah, so it's shit, what is that? I can't remember that movie now. Anyway.
I mean, it's interesting. It's not maybe the main thing I want to do, but I saw it and I was like, oh, this could be really fun.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in this. All out of bubblegum.
Oh.
You have one stat, bubblegum. Your bubblegum starts at 8. And then it goes down. Any action which does not fall under the broad category of kicking ass is resolved by a D10. The number rolled is equal to or less than the amount of bubblegum the character has left, and the character succeeds in the task. I kind of like the idea of doing like a Kyle Starks-esque 80s, over the top 80s or 90s action movie with this. Because it is literally just like the barest of bones.
Oh yeah, super super basic. We just watched. I heard about it on a podcast earlier this week. We watched it last night. It's this weird movie from like 1995 called Super Fights. And
that sounds slightly.
It's not
like I've heard of it. It sounds like something I've heard of.
It's all on YouTube. It's not like good, but it's very competent for a bad movie. Like the fight scenes are really well choreographed.
Was it made by a stuntman?
Probably.
Okay.
And they got people who knew, who knew martial arts to act in it. So
it's just a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
Quite literally.
But there's and the villain is basically Vince McMahon. Yeah.
Just like real life.
Yep. So yeah, it's like it's Super Fights, which is sort of like wrestling, sort of like UFC. And this guy is really into it, and then he gets involved in it, but it also turns out that Super Fights is also a front for like every possible like crime. And they use they're giving all the wrestlers like mind control steroids. And
oh god, this sounds so good. This would be its own like
oh yeah,
all out of bubblegum fucking game.
Yeah, and then so it's like they're sending the performers. One of the guys, I can't remember. I don't remember who plays him. It'd probably be somebody who's been in other stuff that I've seen. But his character in the movie is No Mercy Budokai. Yeah, and he and Dark Cloud, which is troublingly
Dark Cloud,
a black man, but and some of the other like performers are basically they're going out and doing like protection shakedowns and attacking like
Did
drug
Kyle
dens and
Starks write
stuff.
this? Did
Yeah, I
Kyle
don't know.
Starks? It
But
certainly sounds like maybe he did.
the podcast is wild because they were talking about they're like this would be like if Hacksaw Jim Duggan
Wrote a
like
movie.
well no it'd be like if Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Chuck Liddell like fucking shook down the convenience store on your street like and then just went and were back on TV the next day
Oh my god, this
because
is great.
they're basically dressed the same as they are on TV almost too. Anyway, it's wild.
I'm thinking maybe this will be our first one then.
Rob Van Dam is in it.
Did he tell anybody to pick a hand?
He does not have any dialogue, but
Boo.
apparently they only had him like booked for like a couple hours to do like a match. And he did such a good job that they're like, oh, we're gonna just shoot for a full day and expand this fight scene.
Rob, do you want to get paid?
Yeah. I can't remember who else. There was some other wrestlers in it too. I gotta look this up now.
You know what I really like too about this head is an actual head. Like they're
yeah.
So you don't have to like
it's kind of like not it, it's just like a hat like it had no upper skull.
So I'm listening to our prep school playlist, and the moment you started talking about this movie and the Rob Van Dam, the song "Born to Be Alive" by Patrick Hernandez kicked on, and I'm like, this is the opening credits of this movie.
Well, they have a super fight song that is not particularly good, but
well, have you heard "Born to Be Alive" by Patrick Hernandez?
I think I might have.
This is the opening credits song of our movie, Matt. If you haven't heard it, you need to go hear it immediately. It's so good. It screams like into the 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
Not only that, but it also screams like, and maybe just because where I became familiar with it was a scene from Shoresy where there's a hockey fight in a hallway between two teams after the game. And he's like standing around the corner. It's all in slow-mo and he's holding his stick and he's like, and he just turns and walks through the hallway just beating people with a hockey stick. And when it breaks, he starts beating them with the blunt end of what's left. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is why the guys who do Shoresy and Letterkenny, they understand how to make a show in 22 minutes that never ceases to like get you.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be good, but it always like hits in a certain way where you're like the characters, sometimes you're like, I don't like these characters so much, but god damn it, the rest of the world sucks so much. It's very much like got a more pure, for lack of a better term. It's like a more pure, it's a more Canadian version of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's like it sucks the cynicism out and it's like, because Shoresy is a reprehensible human being.
That's what I hear, yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't watched Letterkenny, they don't show him because it's the same character who plays Wayne. It's the head writer just doing the voice. And they always show him like in the toilet or in his hockey uniform with his helmet on or whatever, just completely talking the worst shit humanly possible. But I watched a little bit of the show because I've kind of Letterkenny's kind of worn me out a little bit. But they gave him like an earnestness now, I think, even though he's still a complete prick.
I think Danny gave it a shot and didn't really like get into it. But
did she like Letterkenny or Shoresy?
I think she tried Letterkenny.
Letterkenny, I think you got to get through like the first 4 or 5 episodes, and then you're like, okay. As soon as Wayne turns back into Wayne from being sad Wayne, it's like, okay, this is pretty good. But you also kind of got to enjoy that rapid fire commentary comedy where it's like bad people talking about bad things. And they're like the Canadian version of bad people. So they're not really bad people for us Americans, but they're definitely like, it's something else. So anyway, I kind of want to do this now. Maybe we should come up with a a random generator for 80s cliches for movies to do our stories with. Because right now I've got a feeling this is going to be pretty great. All right. I also was looking at this game, Summer in Woodlake.
Okay.
It's supernatural horror. It's kind of like you're going to camp for the last time. It's powered by the apocalypse. I can't tell if it's kind of like, it feels like it maybe has, you could easily make this more of a Friday the 13th-esque, like 80s slasher thing. But also you could have some just straight up like Erie, Indiana vibes to it. Born to Be Alive is still playing that. It is a 6-minute song with horns and everything. But I mean, it's got like some very interesting like story seeds. Like I'll look at 12. For a while, it was rage among the students of Woodlake High to play a game similar to Bloody Mary. It involved calling upon Angry Pete, who allegedly killed children with varying gardening tools while he was the school's groundskeeper many decades ago. When the mangled body of a student turned up behind the gymnasium, the morbid game was prohibited on pain of suspension. Angry Pete, I would change the name because I would make Angry Pete the Doom Caller in this game. He's the convenience store guy who is like, "You'll be doomed if you play that game."
Yeah.
But one reason I want to do this as well is because I want to try to get better at condensing storytelling, of compressing it a little bit, because sometimes I think I get I decompress too much.
Okay.
And I think it's part of it is just like when I really started to understand, I'm sure you've gone through this to a degree. When I really started to understand like comics, by the time I figured that out, and by the time I got into like where I would look at that as a part of like my reading experience, it was the age of decompression.
Yeah.
It was just starting the age of decompression. So everything was just being ganked into 6-issue stories, which is cool, but that kind of drastically affected how I do stuff. And
I need
to get better at it
for both.
Yeah.
But
so Summer in Woodlake, I think, would be fun. I am very intrigued by this as well. It's called The Happiest Apocalypse on Earth. I love this. It's for my kid. This was his idea. From my brief look, it's basically you're in Disneyland.
All right.
You're in Mouse Park. And I think that could be very interesting.
Oh yeah.
Especially like with the Five Nights at Freddy stuff. That's just fucking horrifying. Amusement parks give me the creeps anyway.
Oh yeah.
And I believe this is also a Powered by the Apocalypse game.
It seems to be
like this. All the visual trappings are very much that.
Yeah. I did drop the theme from Super Fights in the private chat.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Did you go listen to
I will.
Be Alive?
I will. I think I've heard it, but I will listen to it again today.
Be alive.
Because I don't have headphones, so I'm not gonna,
If I didn't think they might copyright strike us, I would totally be like, we should just play it. Tokyo Heroes is like a Super Sentai game. I don't know though if this is the one that's Apocalypse World or not.
I don't think so.
But I've got a couple different Super Tokusatsu Super Sentai style games. Yeah, I don't think this is. But I would like to do that just because I know I've got some like ideas. And then Tricks and Treats. You have 2 stats, Tricks and Treats. I like these 1-page games.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're very interesting. I mean, but like if we're looking through, can you guys see that, or is that so small that you can't?
I can sort of see it.
All
There
right,
you
let's take a look at this. That's real big. And I just kind of want to get your feedback, and anybody who's in chat can. I don't think there's anybody here.
go. No, I haven't seen anybody yet.
I did play Fallout 76 on Friday, and my character's name was Toddlin Dugmer, and he has junk in the trunk, and he's a beautiful boy. And he's like, never bring a gun to a machete fight, because if you pull a gun out, you're gonna get macheted. All right, so you tell me, Matt, what sounds interesting? Like when you look at these names.
I mean, I've looked at a bunch of these when we were building, various things, but
I think Bucket of Bolts could be interesting. Let's open that up, because I think it's so big I can't even open it. I believe that's like you're the spaceship.
Oh, okay.
Karen, I already like a lot. I'm stealing stuff for D&D for that. I may actually run Karen. I think we talked about me just running Karen for something. I don't remember what it was, but Karen's a good game. I really liked it. It's really short, right? Is that what I'm? Is that? No, I got to. This is a problem when you have like no memory.
Did you get the Netflix Castle Grayskull?
No, I know it's really cheap right now, but I am really broke.
That's fair. Yeah,
because I'm paying for.
Yes, I guess
I'm paying for my basement.
Ah, that is fair.
Which is kind of getting close to being done.
How does that feel?
It's weird to see that space.
Or is it one of those deals where it's like, yeah, I'm excited for this, but I can't like accept being excited for it or happy about it until it's done.
No, I can be. I'm very excited about the prospect of moving books in there and making it like a cool space to play games in and stuff. And then turning our basement living room back into a basement living room. But I think I'm just like, I have a hard time visualizing stuff. And because there's still like drywall shit everywhere in there.
Yeah.
It's like hard because it's just like trying to figure out. And then also got to figure out the carpet, and there's no, Sandra's already freaking out because of the painting. She realized she's going to, I'm going to paint all this. I'm like, you are, because I ain't doing it. And then we had to have the electrician come out again because they fucked something up. And then they were like, no, we didn't know about this. So it's going to cost $200. And I was like, but this, you should have known about. This was in the plan. This was in the plan you got. So the guy control it. It's been a fucking mess. Like, it's been a nonstop clusterfuck. But no, but I know it's like on Big Bad Toy Store for like $40 or something like that, right?
Yeah, 50. But it's also one that I could see going cheaper.
Yeah, I do want it, but I did pre-order Snake Mountain though.
Nice.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's the tough thing for me is it's like, all right, I really like a lot of the new Eternia stuff, but I feel like if I'm gonna like stay in Motu at all, like I don't want to get rid of the vehicles and play sets and shit. And it's like they take up so much space. There's actual value there, and it's I think I might just need to be like done with Motu. I know it's wild, but I'm still figuring it out. I'm figuring it out.
But I think that's good though, when you're figuring it out and you're like, this doesn't bring me as much pleasure as this thing does.
Yeah, and it's well, and I mean you've been down here. It's cool. Like you see all right, but
cool does not describe it, especially with my ghetto set up in here.
But it's all also just crammed. Like there's no curation. It's, um, and that's that's kind of where I was like, because I had a room and a little spot, and I'm like, oh, I could fit a shelf in here. So I put a shelf in there and I filled that shelf up. And it's like, shit, like, is this what I want to keep doing? Just, selling a thing here and there so I can cram a few new things in, or is it, because that's the treadmill I'm on. It's I'm at the point I have a limited amount of space, so I can, and I can't cram any more in here. It's already harder to move around in here than I would like, and it's kind of that, like, do I want to keep doing that? And I don't think I do, because it's not fun.
I think here's the thing. I think it's whatever's going to make you happy, my man.
Well, and I don't know what that is, but I also
but you don't have to. But because if something's making you unhappy, then let it go.
Well, and I'm reminding myself too that it's like, if somewhere down the road I decide I want this stuff again, it's available. It's just going to be, how much do I want to spend for it?
That's the thing I ran into. Like, when I went away to college, I sold 6 or 8 long boxes full of like sick stuff, like really good stuff, like Amazing Spider-Man 187 through 340.
It's a good, that
is a sick run. I sold a bunch of cool stuff. I sold all my Marvel team ups. I had every single issue. I sold most of my Defenders run, which I got a bunch of that back because I have a weird love of the Defenders. I sold a bunch of stuff. I didn't get a great price for it.
No.
I sold it to the comic shop where I did some part-time work. I got an applicable price for it, especially for that time period. He didn't like screw me, but I spent a bunch of time. Oh, all my X-Men shit. I had Giant Size X-Men 1 at that point.
Damn.
And I had everything from Giant Size X-Men 1 all the way through Jim Lee's new X-Men series.
Yeah.
Straight. Unbroken. And I sold it.
Yeah.
And I was like, literally like 6 months after that, I was like, why the fuck did I do that? So I mean, I think stuff like that is really hard to like deal with when you unless you're prepared, because like I got rid of all my comics, all my issues.
Yeah.
To Colin, who gave me, I think, a very fair price for it. And one of the reasons I sold it for cheaper than I could probably get elsewhere is because I knew it was going to get read. I knew he and Killian and his daughter were going to sit down and they were going to read that stuff. Mm-hmm. It was going to a home that was going to love it as much as I had loved it.
Right.
And I didn't regret it, because there was a point where I was okay letting it go. So I think if you're to that point where you're like, yeah, I can let this go.
Well, I had a friend, and he ran, he did it for a living. He bought and sold toys for years for a living. I want to say 20, 25 years of his life. That was his primary income. I mean, he'd had some other stuff on the side, but that was basically what he did. And that really helped him as far as collecting, because he's like, yeah, all of this stuff has passed through my hands.
Yeah.
I've had it all. And for me, it's more just like, all right, do I want to, because I've got a finite amount of space. So either I got to start putting stuff in storage, which I don't like doing, because then it's just in a box, and then I'm, you rotate it out. It's like, I'm not going to do that. Or, I got to get rid of stuff to make room for new stuff. And I would rather, and that's basically what I'm going to be doing, but I can't keep collecting 6, 7, 10 different lines. Especially not with the amount of releases that are coming out. For some of them, it's not practical. I don't have the room. I'm not enjoying it. It's like, here's my big BBTS box. This is really cool. I'm going to open everything up. I'm going to set here, for a couple weeks while I make room for it elsewhere. And that just goes on the shelf and sits. Like, that's not anything. And yeah, so I don't know. And, I want to get something for it. I'm talking to a friend of mine. He's got a guy that he knows, because he got divorced and they were about to move into a new place. So he had all his stuff already like in pods, essentially. And he's like, well, I don't have room for this stuff in my new place. I don't know what I'm going to do. And So he just sent all this stuff out to California, and this guy's been eBaying it for him. And I think he's taken like a 40-50% cut, but even then, it's still like, you're getting something for it, and
you're trying to figure out like how much your time is valued at.
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to do the work of getting rid of this stuff, especially there's a lot of it where it's like, yeah, this has value, but it doesn't have value here. I can't take it to one of the local swaps and sell it. I'm going to try and do that first because I'll make more doing that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff where I just know that unless I put it on eBay, I'm not going to sell it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to deal with that shit, at least not for a lot of stuff. And that's, so I'm debating it. At some point, I'll probably just start sending stuff out to that guy if he's interested in working with me on it. But
I don't know if Dave, do you know Dave Richardson?
I know of Dave Richardson. I don't know if we've ever really talked much, but I know of him.
Dave Richardson, I think he used to do, I'm not sure what, he works for BBTS now.
Okay.
But he used to do all of the
eBay stuff for
Hot Comics.
Yeah. Well, if I thought I could get a decent price for this stuff at some of the local shops, I would too. But every time I've tried that.
But no, I would say, like, if rather than ship it all the way out to California, you could always just try to hook up with him and say, hey, if I cut you a percentage, because then you have to ship it.
Right.
If I cut you a percentage of this, would you be willing to do this?
Yeah, there might be local spots that would do it too. I'd have to look into their terms. But the nice thing is I know this guy's been doing the work for my friend, and he trusts him and all that, so that's a big plus.
Known commodities are always great,
So I don't know. I mean, it's still early days. I'm still just figuring stuff out, but I went through and I canceled a ton of pre-orders just to take that off my mind and to say, like, okay, I'm not putting myself on the hook for this stuff until I figure it out.
Yeah. Well, for the most part, like you said, a lot of it'll be there.
That's the thing. And well, I mean, it'll all be there. None of it's ever going to be impossible to get again. That's just not how this shit works. No. Now, could it be difficult? Could it be expensive? Yeah. And I'll have to make that call if I say, oh, I would, I sold my classic Castle Grayskull. I would really like to have that back again. Well, do I want to spend $1,000 on it or whatever it costs by the time I decide that? I'll have to figure that out at the time. But it'll be there if I want to get one. Yeah. And that's really what it boils down to. I gotta break myself out of the FOMO and if I don't buy it now for retail price, it's going to be more expensive later. Because a lot of it isn't going to be more expensive later. And even if it is, it's not that much more expensive. And that's not a good reason to spend money that I should be saving or spending on something else.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or whatever. For stuff that's kind of on that bubble. If it's something I really want or a collection that I'm really excited about, then that makes sense. I'll just buy it when it comes out. But even then, like a lot of the newer Marvel Legends, it's like you can wait a month or two and they're going to be on clearance somewhere.
Yeah, that's very true as well.
And that's what I've been doing with the Masterverse stuff, at least the retail. It's like all of that shit seems to go on sale or clearance. So it's like, do I really need to worry about getting this right when it comes out? No. And then like the stuff that doesn't seem to hit retail, like that Zodak wave barely hit. So I ended up just ordering, the ones I wanted from that online, and I got those for retail. So
no, yeah, I don't disagree with you there.
So it's figuring out, it's being more realistic, but the main thing for me is just for my mental well-being and to be responsible. I want to get a decent amount of savings built up, and then we've got some bills and stuff that it would make more sense to be paying. We could pay the car off faster instead of me buying, a fucking Star Wars toy, that kind of thing. What do I want to do with my money? What do I want to do? And then the space,
I hear you.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. It's a big decision for me.
It's a crazy big decision. I think it'd be a big decision for any of us,
And then
I applaud though that you are figuring out what you want, and then because I think you're probably better at that than like I am.
Well, but I
don't always do a very good job of that. So I'm very happy. I'm very excited for you, Matt.
You also haven't gone in nearly as hard.
But I have gone in hard in other things.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I'm still like I've still got 30 fucking long boxes of comics. That God knows what I'll ever do.
I have an entire. I mean, I have more miniatures than fucking some.
Yeah, and I mean, we all do it in various ways, and it is but I feel like you're also doing a good job of like, okay, I'm gonna not get as many of these going forward.
Yeah, I'm trying. I mean, I'm definitely trying, but like minis are a definite weak spot. I catch myself like there's a sale going on in miniature market right now, and I caught myself looking at stuff and going, "Oh, this would be cool. This would be cool. This is 35% off." And then I was like, "I have too much now. Why the fuck would I buy anything more?"
Well, and that's I hit that point with like custom fodder, where I would buy stuff when it hit clearance. I could customize this, and it's like, yeah, but when are you going to do that, man?
So that's a question I would ask you. As a friend, am I enabling that by sending you stuff? Because
no.
if I am, you just need to let me know, and I will find another customizer to give it to.
No, I think it's fine, and I'm good about like saying, okay, here's what I'm going to use, here's what I'm going to not.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not worried about that. It's more just like buying stuff to maybe someday use, and I'm trying to be better about that. It's like if I don't have an actual like, here's what I'm doing with this,
No plan.
Yeah, because there's a lot of times where it's like, well, yeah, this is just like a generic body. I could totally use this for something someday, maybe.
Like I said, that's why I want to ask, because I don't want to be a contributing factor to unhappiness.
Right.
That
and I don't worry. I will let you know. But yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be an interesting journey, I think. But I am excited to I already got some kind of theoretical plans for the space down here once I do clear some stuff out.
That's super cool.
So that's exciting. We'll see how it
care to share it all.
It's very theoretical. It's more, I got to see what I can actually get rid of and what I can make the space look like before I go down that road. But I would like to at least, try and clear out some of the stuff or at least lessen the amount of stuff that's in like the middle of the room to make it easier to move around down here and to give stuff more of an opportunity to be seen and enjoyed. And then if I really end up in a good spot with space, once I unload a bunch of shit, I might try and do like, because I had a plan when I had my big, setup of my wrestling rings.
Oh my God, that was so cool.
And, I might have something like that in the future. I don't know. It depends on where I'm going to land with my wrestling collection.
But that's the thing too. I want to make sure that like we're supportive of you, because like to those of us who don't have that like in our house, that's super cool.
It is.
But like when you're the person who has it in your house and you're looking at it day to day and you're like, I could do this with this space, but I have this thing. I'm sure it's like fucking very overwhelming at times.
It can be. And I mean, there's times where it's just like, well, this, my interest in things ebbs and flows. Wrestling hasn't been that exciting to me for a while.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want to devote this amount of space to this. And I've already decided that no, I don't. And it's the same thing with, is it cool to have Snake Mountain and Castle Grayskull out here? Yeah. They're really cool toys, but I'm not doing anything with them. And the space is such that I've got to cram shit in around them because I don't have room for it anywhere else. So it's like, well, this isn't serving its purpose. But if I end up in a good spot with my displays and feel like I've been able to pare down and set stuff up the way I want it, I'm very tempted to maybe build like some diorama type stuff.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like too, like even for me, I spent money to get one of those big diorama sets, and I was very excited about it. And I bought it because it was like, this thing's going to go out of stock and all this. I was pumped.
Yeah.
And then I got it, and Cassandra was like, hey, did you look at the dimensions of this? And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, it should fit. And she's like, no, did you do like what adults do and measure? And I was like, no. And she was like, yeah, that doesn't fit. You don't have room for it. Like you literally don't have space for it. And I was like, Fuck me.
Well, maybe once the basement is done, you can carve out some spots for it.
Ray fucking purchase.
But
yeah, it was frustrating. I mean, it's one of those things I think it can be very, very difficult. And that's hard, man. That's real rough. Like I said, I want you, our good friend, our specialist boy, to know that like we got your back and that we want to be able to be helpful in any way we can.
Oh yeah, I know that. Of course.
By the way,
Mike.
this looks awesome with these Macho Man pants. They're like the first time those Macho Man pants are going to come fully into fucking play.
And
hey, Super Spike,
you are here just in time for me to have to dip out because I gotta go see a guy about a thing.
Yeah, and I'm actually gonna dip out too because I think I'm gonna maybe Minecraft with my wife some today, and then yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
Hey, I appreciate that, Super Spike.
I can't read. Doesn't mean much. Oh man, you're more than a dude from Tennessee. You're our dude from Tennessee.
The dude.
The dude.
Tennessee. And yes, we are glad that you made it, even though we are wrapping up. We appreciate everybody who stops in or watches at some point in the future. We've just been chatting about stuff.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot to do prep wise, so it was kind of like one of those things where we hung out, we wrapped. Matt and I haven't seen each other in person for a couple of weeks. Been like a month. Yeah, you've been super busy, and the last
you've had stuff going on. I guess the main takeaway is Super Spike. If you want to watch a weird, not good but not bad movie, check out Super Fights on YouTube.
God damn it, Matt! I kind of feel like asking, are they paying you for all the publicity?
Nobody is paying me for this. No, I don't think anybody involved.
Oh, dude, look how good this is gonna look.
Anyway, that looks good.
Just a simple part swap. Did this particular guy not come with leg kicks with
maybe he didn't on the new version. I don't know.
That's interesting. I mean, I'm not mad about it. I'm just like, I didn't even think about that because I don't see any.
The original had them.
Yeah, Tank guy did, and
he's not shown with them in the
picture. Which is, yeah, I don't know why I'm asking you to look it up. I literally have the box in front of me.
Yeah, no, it's no. He just has the bracers.
The bracers are great. And by the way, I just want to give big ups to Mattel for giving us plastic that is actually, it's not hard, so it can actually go and get used on other stuff. And I love the fact that I'm going to be able to get these bracers on. And in the time we've spent bullshitting, I'm gonna have to figure out the head here because it's a wobbly boy.
Oh, well, you get some clue on that
because it's no.
What happened?
His hand fell off. I thought I had the bracers on all the way, but I didn't.
Yes, Super Fights from 1995. It's insane. It's weirdly competent, especially in terms of the choreography of the fights, but it's not good.
I mean,
but it's enjoyably bad in its way. The star of it should not be the star of anything. But yeah, it's sort of like if Vince McMahon was also just a legit crime lord and not an arguable one. Yeah, that's looking tasty. But I am going to hit the road. I believe Chop and Chop is off this week because Dave will still be out of town. But I'll be back here next Sunday. So
yeah, we got Down That One's tomorrow night. As we're talking about, we've got we did Spoopy Boys this week, which was great. We talked Texas Chainsaw Massacre. God, this is such a good looking equipment. I'm so excited about it. If I had some orange boots, I'd switch those whites out for orange.
I would almost say when Slamurai comes out. he should just have like the all white pants.
No.
All right. Hey, yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Although I'm tempted, but I'm not, because and my reasoning is I have too many Macho Man pants.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That's
Plus,
fair.
I think it works.
Yeah, no, it does. It does.
Especially since I gave him Sunman body, because I don't feel like there's enough black representation in
Oh
Eternity.
no, there definitely is not.
Yeah, so Matt and I talked about doing One Shot Wednesday. I think that I'm going to try to get that up and running after we go on hiatus for Down Outlands, which should be after this next episode. I've got to get Star Wars just keeps circling. It doesn't feel like it's ever going to get on track. I don't know when that'll happen.
Someday.
I know that there's a big appetite for it, but I mean, that appetite only gets us so far.
Yes.
And then, gosh, I forgot what I was going to say. I don't know what we're due for next Friday. Probably something. Hopefully it'll be multiplayer, because that's fun. Fallout was great this week. So yeah, I think that's all that I can do to Minnesota goodbye, Matt. Matthew, you have a wonderful time following your bliss.
Yeah. Figure it out. I mean, hey, make some money, get some stuff out of the basement here.
Get paid. Matt got to get paid.
Ooh.
Thank you, Super Spike, and thank you to anyone who watches this mess in the future as we looked at some RPGs that will probably get played. I got to say, All Out of Bubblegum is going to probably be the first one.
Oh yeah, and I don't know what your plan is or what systems you've got, but I'm debating buying a PS5 at some point here. I think you can crossplay on PS4, but I've got a friend who picked up Fight Forever. I might grab that as well. So
if it's cross-platform,
it might be in the future. I think right now you can do PS5 to PS4, but I don't
see. I'm not a console guy anymore.
Okay.
All I do is Steam.
All right. Well, it is on Steam Deck and Steam, so yeah.
Yeah, then we could do it for sure.
But I don't know if it'll be cross-platform. And yeah, it's Super Spike. I don't have any ways. It's not easy. It's a slog. But hey, that's fine. You know.
But we got to remember that we're all in a slog, but we're in it together.
That's true. But all right, that is my time. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Matt, tell Danny I said hi, and
Super
thank you for letting us steal you.
Absolutely. Super Spike, I hope you have a fabulous Sunday and a great 4th, whatever you get up to. Yeah. Bye.
Bye, Matthew. Mwah. This has been Prep School, where we didn't really do a lot of prepping. We just did a lot of chit chatting, and we'd all talking. I guess we did a little bit of prepping. Super Spike, thank you for coming and hanging out with us. Thanks to anyone else who jumped in and jumped out or did whatever. I'm gonna go finish my coffee, and then I think I'm gonna play some Minecraft, and maybe I'll play Minecraft with others, or maybe I'll play by myself. I don't know. I'm not gonna play with myself, just by myself. All right. Again, kick ass. Space guy says, oh, bye. Why am I like this?